on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is time investment. We get to look at how we choose to spend our time and what we value as worthwhile and, the kind of return we expect on that investment. So, before we get started, let's take a minute to get settled in and present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen just flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy throughout your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, any stress, any fatigue, any toxicity. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant bright light lighting you up, every electron, every molecule, just electrifying, energizing, illuminating all your cells, and bringing light throughout your body, your being, and beyond. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, fatigue, toxicity. And now let's just gently press our palms together. Very softly rub your fingers against your palms just to feel the deliciousness of that sensation and how wonderful it is to be here in this physical body, able to experience all these wonderful senses and bring yourselves present right here, right now. Welcome, welcome. So today's topic is time investment, and I'm bringing this up because I have been looking at social media, and I'm not a natively a social media person. This is the biggest presence that I have on social media. It's pretty much the only presence that I currently have on social media that's in any way consistent. I don't spend a lot of time in social media venues, and it's just my life is so full. I don't have the time that I choose to focus in that direction. So, uh, having said that, I realized that in order to um, be able to more effectively share information, to share a message, you need to be visible socially in social media. So I have I recently hired a virtual assistant to help get the word out. And I'm looking to build a coaching course that is a group coaching venue that on a weekly basis. And I realize that it's necessary to promote that, right? So, in order to promote that, we get to put some time into social media. So, the thing that I found myself saying in our conversation is that's a lot of time to invest, and what's the payback? What's the outcome? If we're going to be promoting, building a social media presence, what's the point? And I like, what's the objective? Why do we want to invest that time? And is it worth investing this much time for that kind of outcome? Hello, Irma. Welcome, welcome. And Rosalind says, time investment. Who do you choose to share your energy with day in, day out? And calling a family member, commitment to exercise regimen, meal prep for the week, social media comes down to priorities. Exactly. So that's what we're talking about. Is we're talking about priorities, and if we look at, I talk about how we tend to commodify everything. So I don't want to fall into the trap of, hello, Robert, welcome, welcome. Welcome to everybody here today. I don't want to fall into the trap of commodifying our time, to say, okay, time is currency that we get to spend. and we get to look at the payback. And that having been said, we do look at things as a trade-off, right? We do look at things as I'm investing this much time. What is the return? What's the potential return? So I was looking at it directly with certain social media ventures, but as you said, Rosalind, which is really, really, really important, who do we choose to spend our time with? Who are the people that we are spending our time with, sharing our time with? And the thing that you want to be looking at is, are you spending your time with people who enliven you, who support you in being expansive and expressive, or are you spending time with people who bring you down and deplete you? So that's a really important thing. Are you spending time doing things that are nurturing and life affirming? So, are you spending time, as you said, Rosalind, for instance, exercising, consciously preparing wonderful meals, um, resting, nourishing yourself, nurturing others? Well, what is it that you value? What are you doing with your time that creates value for yourself or for others? And I think that that's a really useful question, because I truly, I saw myself saying, okay, there's this whole push for social media presence, but what's the point? Why are we doing that? And if I'm doing that with a clear intention to be sharing um, something, a message consciously and deliberately, that's great. Like this time that I share with you is such a win-win for me anyway. I hope it is for you. I'm presuming it is, because a bunch of you keep coming back. So, it's a win-win where we get to think about things together. We get to share ideas together. We get to grow together. That to me is really, really valuable. The question that I have is, what's the value in creating posts to just be seen? I wonder about that. Hello, Elaine. Welcome, welcome. Peaceful and happy now to you too. Wonderful to have you here. We're talking about, I guess, creating a social presence, to be seen and known. And I don't know about you, but I expect that many of you have a similar dynamic with, being healer type people, where there may be issues that you have contended with around being seen. And my guess is that most of us are not people who are necessarily the center of attention, for instance, at a party. Like, we're not people that would be having the whole room listen to us speaking, because I like I said, I don't know about you, but I've encountered a lot of healer people who have a of sort of an aversion to being too visible, with maybe dimensional or multi-life memories of being drowned and burned and hung and all kinds of things like that for their visibility. So it's interesting. Here I am visible with you, and Elaine says, I do live to serve. Yes, it's beautiful. That's beautiful. And hopefully you serve you as part of that service. That you're included in whoever it is you're serving. And good morning, Suzanne. Welcome. Great to have you here. We're talking about time investment and who we choose to spend our time with and what we choose to spend our time doing. And when you think about if just as an exercise, if you chose to gain a new perspective, to imagine a dollar value to your time. And I'm not saying this is real, although some people operate like it is real. But let's say if we assigned a dollar value to our time and then we looked at the way that we spend our time, it might put a different perspective on the investment that we're making, right? Like if we had to pay somebody else for, good morning, Tammy. Welcome. It's great to have you here. We're talking about time investment. So if we were to, and because I don't believe time is money, I just want to be really clear. We're just doing this as a thought exercise. So if you assigned a dollar value to your time, and then you looked at what you're investing your time doing, it might throw a different light on how you utilize your time. And one of the ways that we can assess the value of our time is by assigning, for instance, a dollar value. But what if we assigned a well-being value to our time? Like, does this investment of my time enhance my well-being? Does this investment of my time um, contribute to my self-nurturance or to my ability to serve myself and others? Does this investment of my time contribute to the world? Am I creating a better space for myself and the world by this investment of time? So Rosalind says, assume $1 per hour in a 24-hour time frame. My recliner, my recliner would earn at least $8 a day. You're funny, Rosalind. That's a riot. So the question is that $8 a day investment out of that 24% investment, 25% investment worth the return that you get from being in that recliner? Is it worth the relaxation? Are you getting the relaxation and the revitalization that you need from that 8-hour investment? So I think it's an interesting way to think about things, because when I realized that I was going to be literally paying for the development of certain things, social media wise or whatnot, to support me in having this presence, I thought, I really don't know. I have to find a reason to make that worthwhile. I need to, if I'm just putting out memes, what's the point, right? Who does that serve? Maybe there's a cool saying or a pretty picture, but ultimately, who does that serve? So I want to be able to be taking an action that is purposeful, right? So maybe if I were to put out an image that offered people an opportunity to share in a meditation or a download, or encouraged people to join us, and grow our community so that this can be a more vibrant conversation even than it is already, or something that would create a benefit. And so when I think about my patterns, my habits, the things that I do, if I think about it in terms of time investment and return, like what is this activity producing for me, or what am I producing for others in the context of this activity? Good afternoon, Pat. Wonderful to have you here. We're talking about time investment and how we how we view our time and the usage of our time and what kind of return we receive for that investment. So, for instance, sleep. Sleep is something that we get an incredible return from. Hopefully, we have rest and rejuvenation, revitalization. Hopefully, rest gives us a better emotional foundation. It gives us a better mental framework and context. So rest can be a tremendously wonderful, important investment of time that we often overlook. Yesterday we were talking about food for the soul. Today, we're looking at how do we apportion our time to best serve us and our purpose and mission in the world as well. So rest is something that's really important. We talked about how replenishment yesterday is such an important thing. Even sometimes, like I play solitaire on my phone um, at least once a day. And what does that do for me? Like time, or is that something that kind of gives me a way to settle in and orient and kind of do gear up my brain, problem solving, but in a way that's somewhat, altered consciousness. I don't know. It's something that I enjoy. So there's that little enjoyment factor. If I were doing it all day, it wouldn't be such a good thing, right? But maybe once during the day, it's something that I allow myself to orient myself through somehow. And actually to see possibility when sometimes it looks like there's no possibility, and I am able to, find my way through the game to win it. Um, so Rosalind says, so before assigning priorities, one has to first list their desired outcomes. Then they can see where their time is being spent. So exactly, I think you articulated it really well, Rosalind. I think when we assign priorities, what we get to do is look at the desired outcome. Like what's not only the desired outcome, but what's the why? Why am I doing this? What's the intention? Why am I doing this? And then so lots of us have issues around procrastination. So when we have a why, the why can help us overcome procrastination. So, for instance, I have a video that I get to edit for this week's movie night. We did a great interview with a man named Tim Panagos, who has a company named Microshare. And what they do is they monitor environments to be able to get metrics to create more sustainable practices within the environment, like heat and lighting and work hours and all kinds of things. And so anyway, I get to edit this interview. So the thing is, I need to make time to do that. Well, what's my why? Well, my why is that this is great information to be sharing with people. Another part of it is I do have a deadline, because we're showing the movie this week, or the interview. But having my why, connecting to my why, even will help me to really make that a priority that I feel good about, right? So Elaine says, I used to try to control money for my perception of my worthiness. You know what, Elaine, so many people get into that bind. And that's why I am saying this is a thought exercise. This is not anything that has to do with reality. It's not, we are not worth the money that we make. There's no amount of money that could pay us what we are worthy and worthy of and worth as human beings. Value at that time. Okay, so I used to try to control money for my perception of my worthiness value at that time, and I struggled, very painful. Now I'm open to trusting myself, to doing the best for the whole in areas of my life, intuitive guidance from within. I've worked hard to trust all of me, knowing that all is for my highest good and for the whole. Absolutely, Elaine. So where I go is into this place of heart and intuition for inspiration, and that allow the doingness that we are in the world to emerge from that inspiration, so that we're doing from a place of being and a place of presence rather than becoming that doing, and identifying ourselves and our value with that doing that we do, because that we could do nothing and we are still worthy. We are still, just by virtue of the fact that we are here and alive and a vehicle for the expression of life. We are here, we belong, we are worthy, and we don't, the valuing ourselves based on these externals is something that I believe is the most misguided aspect of common culture right now. And so please, this exercise of saying, if we were to assign a dollar value, it's not an accurate assignment. That's why I also said, let's look at, what does this activity produce for my well-being, or for serving me to serve others, and serving me to serve myself. So that's why I made that distinction. So Irma says, I'm in the process of learning to see and accept the importance and joy in investing time in me, and give myself the chance to feel the satisfaction in doing so. I want to feel good. I want to learn to feel good about just being. Yes, Irma, hallelujah. This is so wonderful. The joy of investing time in me. It is a worthy investment to say, I'm doing this because I have fun. I'm doing this because when I do this, I feel this wonderful sense of joy and elation. That is of tremendous value. So yes, beautiful, Irma. Good morning, Dennis. Welcome. It's great to have you here. And Elaine says, love and worthiness. Our innocence is our true nature and cannot be given or taken away. It is who we are eternally. And so, to that point about our innocence, we can give it away ourselves, in that sometimes we can forget our innocence, and we get to reclaim it. And I love what you said, but we do get to reclaim our innocence, our purity. And when I think of that innocence, I think of beginner's mind, essentially, to be present and coming at life as each moment being a new moment, and a new moment of discovery and experience. And Rosalind says, love the morning dose of musings with Mira and Maggie, and hearing other people's perspectives on the topic of the day. Rosalind, I'm right there with you. It's such a joy. And I'm so grateful to all of you for joining us and sharing, because I think that the morning musings, I think that these are important things to be considering in our lives, to enrich our lives and to be living more mindfully, right? To be looking at, I do actually spend time doing things that are nurturing, and I value that, and that's something to feel good about. And so we can be observing our patterns, and say, wow, I'm investing time in something that's making me utterly miserable. Maybe I could spend that time more more graciously for myself. Elaine says, forgetting our innocence doesn't mean that it was given away. It just means you're looking in a different direction in the now, but alive and well within. I love that. I love that. It doesn't mean it was given away. It's just obscured, or we're looking in a different direction. So reclaiming it and redirecting our focus. I agree with you, Elaine. That's beautiful. And there is the there have been times in my life where I look back at my child self, and the if I I have at times looked back and felt like I've been sullied, like I lost that. And I love that you're talking about just being able to redirect your focus, because that is true. That innocence and wonder and awe is still there to be accessed if we just turn our focus in that direction. It's beautiful, Elaine. Thank you for that. Irma says, you guys support my growth. Good time investment here to start my day in light and joy. Irma, that's beautiful. And yes, I think we get to this time together is really a support for our growth, our expansion, our awareness, our awakening, and appreciation for who we are and how we show up in the world. And it's such a gift. This for me, it's a gift that keeps on giving. If you guys are experiencing it as a gift as well, that makes it an even greater gift for me. So I so appreciate you and appreciate our time together. And we cover lots of interesting ground, I think, collectively. And it is with the intention. So again, like, this is not an idle time investment for me at all. It's with the intention to gain greater personal insight, to connect with you guys, and explore ideas and the experience of being alive here together on the planet and growing together. And so for me, this is a really worthwhile investment of my time. um, I get so much from it, and from the sharing with you. And so look at in your life where you're investing your time, and where you're getting the greatest return from that investment. And maybe you can find more places to uh, invest your time that are enriching and enlivening for you, and expand that goodness. And um, I think I think that's it for today. So I want to say again, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a joy and a privilege for me. And I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. I go live each weekday morning on Enlightened World Network's Facebook page. Please check out the other wonderful programming and the heart-centered community on Enlightened World Network. And until next time, I encourage you to invest your time in experiences that open your heart and feed your soul.